Hi, my name's Nancy, and I had a solar system installed by May Electric Solar, and I live in the Port Richey, Florida area, and I'm just loving my solar system so far. You know, it's something that I've thought about on and off over the years, and somebody approached me in one of the big box stores, like, kind of letting me know, hey, have you thought about solar? And that kind of got me thinking, well, maybe I should start looking into it. But I mean, there's a lot of reasons that I actually decided to go for it. It's something that's renewable. I mean, we've got sunshine, plenty of it here in the state of Florida. And, I figured once, the, paying for the system itself was all done, that I would be able to actually budget better. It was kind of a budgetary thing. And, it made a lot of sense to me that I could have something not only renewable, but something that was going to be budget smart for me in the long run. I really like to be an informed consumer, so I actually had 5 different companies, with May Electric being one of them, that I had give presentations, so to speak, some over the phone and some in person, but 5 different companies. Shared, what kind of cost and what kind of products they were using and their pros and cons. And I did a lot of research online after having those conversations to kind of vet those answers that I was being given. So I did a lot of digging before making a decision. There are a few reasons. One was the quality of the panels, the inverters, the warranties that were being provided were all top-notch based on all of the research that I did, and comparing those to the others that were being offered. The other was the transparency of the process and just really being informed about everything that was going to happen. And the ethics. I ran into some companies, and I won't, go into who all of those were, but I had people trying to trick me into signing things that would have locked me in, blatantly saying, oh no, this isn't going to lock you into anything. But when I read it, they didn't want me to take time to, they're like, sign it right now. I said, no, I want to read this. And it would have locked me into something right then and there. I had folks that were omitting information that would have been costly to me. So the fact that May Electric not only had the best products, the best warranties, and beat all of the other companies that I looked at hands down price-wise, along with being ethical and forthright with what they were doing, there was no question in my mind when it came down to it. I worked with Paul. He was awesome. He was really down to earth, which I liked. He was low pressure, like actually no pressure at all. He brought a big binder full of information, and he sat down with me and he went through all the ins and outs and details, all the different options that were available, talked to me about right sizing my system to make sure that it was going to produce what I was going to need. We talked about what I wanted my system to do. So he literally walked through all the details and gave me enough information to help me avoid pitfalls, like, helped me know what questions to ask, what to be looking at, so that when I came out the other end, I was going to be happy. The installation crew was really professional. I mean, they came, they got right to work. I mean, other than, sounding like hooves on the rooftop, I mean, you wouldn't even know they were there. I mean, they just got down to business. And you could tell they knew what they were doing. Like you've seen some crews, other places that are just kind of like haphazard. No, they were just bing, 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 getting things done. Courteous, tidy. I mean, I didn't find anything weird laying around the yard or anything like that. So I was very, very happy. They kept right to the time frame that they said it was going to be. They said, okay, it'll probably take 2 days, and that's exactly what it was. They kept right to it. So when I was working with the salesman, Paul, he had said, okay, this is the approximate time frame. They said, okay, from the time you sign the contract until the time the install is complete, typically that's somewhere between 4 to 6 weeks. And that's exactly what it was, because there's all kinds of things. And, they let me know, hey, we're going to pull the permits and there's going to be papers to sign out. And they walked me through everything that needed to happen. So I didn't have to really handle anything. It was explained to me. Anything I needed to do was provided to me. Everything that May Electric said this is going to happen and when, in terms of everything that they had control over, happened when it was supposed to happen. And I knew what was going on. Anytime that I called the office or emailed or had any questions, they answered everything that I wanted to know from them. If I called in and I said, hey, where are we at with this? They let me know exactly where they were in the process. So I felt really comfortable knowing exactly what I could expect. After the installation, part of the process is that the electric company has to install the new net meter, because your old meter just isn't going to do the same job. You need one that kind of spins both directions, and normally that's supposed to be within about 30 days. Unfortunately, I had some work performed by one of the subcontractors through Duke Energy, and whatever they did, it caused a major hiccup. And the net meter wasn't able to be installed. But where the problem came in is I didn't even know there was a problem. I called in to Duke Energy several times and nobody seemed to know what was going on. And it wasn't until I spoke with Mr. May and he kind of stepped in on my behalf and started speaking with Duke that he found out what had gone wrong, and that this error, so to speak, needed to be corrected before they could install my net meter. And Mr. May took it into his own hands and he corrected it, because they're fully able to do all kinds of electrical work. They're not like a subcontract type of company, so they took care of it all. They smoothed it over, they got it done, they got with Duke, and boom, after he handled it, they were able to get that net meter installed. So thank goodness for Mr. May. I love the system tracking. I can check it on my home computer, but I have the app downloaded onto my phone, and I'm kind of nosy. I like to know what's going on with my system. I mean, I like to see how it's performing. I can see every single panel and see exactly what each one is doing at any time of the day. I can see how much power I'm drawing off the system. I can see how much I'm sending out. I can pull reports. I can see it by the day, the month, the year. So I have just a ton of information at my fingertips just by popping into that app. So I absolutely love it. So it actually has been exactly what I was hoping it was going to do. So I looked over my bills when we were preparing to have the system installed. I had looked at all the costs of my bills over the course of time, and my bills were generally, anywhere from $220 to $240, sometimes a little lower during those super weird months when you don't use a lot, but is right in that realm, 220-ish to 240-ish. And I really wanted my system to take care of all of my electricity. And it has. Every single one of my bills, from the first bill I got in October after my system was fully turned on, the only thing that's on my electric bill is there's a connection cost that's like, I don't know, $10 a month, thereabouts, that just to be an electric customer. So you're always going to have that no matter what. And then I have a whole house surge protector, and I pay like, I don't know, $8, $9 a month for that. But that's not electricity. So my electric bill has been like $18, $19 a month, and it's not because of any electricity. My system has handled all of it. I would absolutely recommend May Solar. I always encourage people to be informed consumers, do your homework, look around, but when it boils down to it, when I did all that looking around and digging, there was no one that compared to May Electric in terms of what they were offering, their service. I would absolutely recommend them to anyone who was looking to install solar.